Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Night Tea on the Lit Podcast Live. I am your host, Juana Lyles. And um, y'all, I don't know why it seems like today is like another day. It's just like always already just Tuesday, but it just seems like I've already had a whole week. So tonight I'm gonna just wait a few minutes. Somebody just logged in. Who is it, y'all? Is it Mama? She told me last week. She said I'm always first, so it don't matter. I'm always first, and I hate this. Sorry for the glare, but my ring light is shining into my glasses, so I'm sorry about that. But yes, so tonight we are going to be talking about the S in the Be Risky. And so I want to encourage you that if you are on Facebook Live, at least, you do have to allow StreamYard to access your page. It's Mama. I told y'all it's her. But you have to allow StreamYard to access your name so that I can see who you are, so that we can have dialogue, so that I can connect with you. You could connect with me. You could ask questions and all that good stuff. Otherwise, I can't see who you are. So, and y'all know I like to see who the people is. So, yes, come on in, as Coach always says. Come on in the room. I can't sing, but but yes, I'm just ready for this S, y'all. Y'all come on in. And I have a little twist to the S. It's not as what we think, so there's a little bit more that I'm going to talk about as far as the S is concerned. But yeah, I see a few people coming on in. So y'all tell me who you is out there. Who are you? So come on in, get yourself comfortable. Um, I don't have tea tonight, but I have a handy dandy Chick-fil-A drink. So, they got that good chicken over there. But hello, I believe that's my cousin, Marilyn Monroe. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. And since I'm saying welcome, welcome to all of you that are joining us live with the live stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in. We do this every Tuesday at unless something happens, right? Every Tuesday at 8 p.m. I'm gonna try to get y'all in and out within the 30-minute time frame, because I know people got things to do. And there's my bestie Michelle. Hey Michelle. Hey girl. Hey. Um, but you guys, this S is gonna be a little bit different. And I wanted to, yes, Michelle, Mama's on. She's on YouTube. Now I'm gonna have them have a little rivalry going on. But I wanted to continue saying welcome to everybody. Welcome if you are, not on the live stream with us, but you are watching this 5 minutes from now, 5 hours from now, 5 years from now. Whenever you're watching it, welcome and thank you for watching and thank you for joining us. So I have like a minute left, but I'm just, I don't know, I'm feeling anxious. So I'm ready to do it. Let's do it. Okay. So you guys, we're going to be talking about the S in Be Risky, which is for the schedule, as they say, like somewhere in Europe. Um, Let me see if I can. There we go. I have my notes up. I was trying to make it small so I could still see. I still need a TV, y'all. Somebody bless me with not a TV, but a monitor, a second monitor. I don't need one. But okay. So last week we talked about the I in Be Risky, which was being intentional. And so some of the stuff that I'm going to go over kind of overlaps a little bit. So don't fall asleep, don't get bored. We're going to get through this thing, right? But when I talked about the Be Risky episode a few weeks ago, right at the beginning of the month, we talked about the S, which means schedule. And so I'm going to read what I had talked about then. Creating a morning routine, afternoon routine, and nightly routine will help keep you on track and provide balance. I had a Bible verse in there That was 1 Corinthians 14:40. It tells us that all things should be done decently and in order. A planner might help, as well as keeping a calendar, which we talked about last week in the intentional, or just taking notes in your phone. You already have some routines like showering and brushing your teeth when you wake up and before you go to bed. Just be more mindful and intentional, because y'all know that's my favorite word. Be intentional with them. Personally, I begin each day with prayer and thanking the Lord for keeping my family safe through the night and giving us another opportunity to serve Him and be disciples of the kingdom. And that is a true statement. I do that every single day. I wake up and I say, "Thank you, Lord," and thank Him for the many things that He's already done and the things that He has yet to do in my life. Um, Also, I put in there, so think about how you might want to incorporate prayer, meditation, or exercise into your routine. And so some of those we've already talked about, right? Like we did talk about for the E, which was exercise. We did talk about exercise. So I hope that throughout this process, and you guys have been, and ladies, I got to stop saying that, but that y'all folks out there, that you have been really taking heed to some of the things that I've been talking about, and that you have been trying to incorporate some of these activities, these thoughts, whatever it is, into your own self-care routines, okay? And just making yourself a priority in general, okay? And so as we dig in, so initially that's what came up for me was the scheduling. Make a schedule for it, right? But we all have such busy, busy, busy lives. The other day, I was taught my daughter-in-law, she texted me and she asked me if I had done something. I have not done it, right? And I was just like, oh, that emoji, that one, because I was like, dang, it just was gone, right? It was totally gone out of my mind. And, so of course I apologized. And you know what her response to me was, "I know you've been busy, busy." And I'm like, dang. And it kind of, I'm going to tell you, it triggered me. It took me back to when my daughter was 8. And she was like, "Mom, I know that you can't go with me to all these things because you're busy, because you have to take care of all these soldiers." And I just was triggered right in that moment, because things that are important to me, I'm not making them a priority. So here's my transparency. I haven't been making certain things a priority that should be a priority, right? And for someone to just say you're busy, I know you're busy. Man, I don't know why it just punched me right in the chest, y'all. Um, because I don't want to be so busy that I don't have time for people that I care about, especially. Oh my goodness, Tammy's back, y'all. She's been gone, but she's back. Hey, Tammy. But I just that just kind of alerted me. It made me think about something, that busy, busy. And she put busy, busy, not like, so that's like the emphasis. So it wasn't just like, I know you're busy, you know. So just whenever you get a chance, it was like, I know you busy, busy, and these young folks, when they say something 2 times, that mean it's like for real. So anyway, that just kind of made me think about from a different perspective. And so I'm gonna first talk about like multitasking, because y'all know we talk about multitasking, and when people, I be multitasking. Y'all are probably multitasking right now while some of you are listening to me. You may be driving, you might be baking a cake, Michelle. No, no shade. You might be, actually, she's probably not, because she just had a really big event, and I'm so proud of her because those pictures look wonderful on Shelly's Sweet Sensation about all those desserts she made for this wedding, y'all. Um, so you might be listening to me. She said, "How you know?" I do. I got, hey. um, the spirit told me. But seriously, you might be multitasking by um like, listening to me right now, because you don't have to watch, right? That's the one thing. You don't have to watch. So you could be in your car driving, you could be cooking dinner for your family, you could be giving your kids a bath, you could be sitting with your boo or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and doing something else. And I'm just in the background, right? Or you could be focusing on me and doing, like, have your phone up because the notifications are still coming, right? So whatever that looks like for you. um Multitasking, according to like Very Well Mind, they gave me some examples, and I love Very Well Mind, because they come up with some really good topics and things that, like, help expand your thought processes on things. Okay, so some examples that they gave for multitasking, because some of this stuff I'm about to tell you is going to be like, oh yeah, I do that all the time, right? So basically, it's starting two projects at the same time. So, like, listening to the radio while driving to work. Who don't do that? You listen to the radio while you driving anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't do that? Talking on the phone while typing an assignment. So I know when I start school, yeah, am I gonna be doing that? You know what I mean? Or like, you could be talking on the phone while you're working, if you're not in school, right? Watching television while responding to work emails. Mm, I do that all the time. Like, I'm like, uh-huh, baby, yep. And then I'm like responding to emails, checking emails, doing all kinds of stuff with the email. You could be scrolling through social media while in a meeting. Y'all know good and well we be doing that for real. Like, I'm looking up something, and then it's like I'm trying to help, but then I'm like, oh, somebody just did something. There I go on social media, right? um Listening to a person talk while writing a to-do list. And so, just like I was saying, you might be listening to me, but we're talking about, like, in that case, it's like I'm listening to Demond. I'm supposed to be listening to him anyway, but I'm writing down some other things. And so here's this, we talk about multitasking and that we end up doing it, but actually research shows that multitasking takes a serious toll on our productivity. So it's not really helpful. Our brains actually lack the ability to perform multiple tasks at the same time. So if you think about it, like, you really can't focus on two things. So what happens is, what we end up doing is like switching quickly from one task to the other, right? So you're actually focused and listening to me now, but then the dinger goes off and you're like, oh, I gotta, well, let's see, Michelle says she was making grits. So the timer goes off because the grits started boiling, or she hears the bubbling of the grits, right? So then her attention stops being on me. Sorry, Michelle, I'm just using you as an example because you was brave enough to post something up in there. So her attention stops focusing on me, and she has to switch to focus on the grits so they don't burn, right? So when you think about that, are you really multitasking? No, because you have to stop one thing to do the other, right? And now, Tammy, girl, come on. She said, do you got some shrimp to go with them grits? That's what I'm talking about. That sounds so good right now. And see, now I'm distracted. That's the other thing that happens. It causes distraction, right? So it takes away our ability to focus. Multitasking actually increases feelings of stress, and it exasperates impulsiveness. So we start doing things impulsively because, just because of it, because it's like, oh, I gotta hurry up, because especially if there's something with a time crunch or something like that. Um, Brian, y'all cracking me up in these comments. Brian said, "Don't mess up the grits." Oh, because I think he don't eat seafood like that. Yeah, he says, "Don't mess up no good grits." But anyway, y'all see, I gotta get back focused. That's why I be having my paper up there so I don't see everything that's going on until like after I'm done talking. But see, I can't focus on two things at one time. I'm showing you right now that you can't multitask. So um I want to also tell you that it will worsen your performance at school or work, because I do have some younger people that are in school, or even some older people, because I'm gonna be one of them older people that's going back to school. So, it can worsen your performance. So even though we think that we are multitasking and that it's helpful and that we're really doing something, it also, when it worsens our performance, our ability to focus, we get distracted, we also start to get negative feelings that can cause anxiety as well. Okay. So now I'm stressed out and I'm anxious and I'm just all over the place and ain't nothing getting done. Right. And the whole grits is burnt now and you can't fix them. So you got to start all over again. Right. So, something else I wanted to add is that you probably didn't know that the busier you are, the greater self care you need. I'm going to say that one more time for the folks in the back. The busier you are, the greater self care you need. So, y'all, if I'm busy, I need to do some self care. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we end up needing more self care time, which is like the me time. That we end up needing more of that to care for ourselves, because we just out here pouring in everybody's cup, right? Pouring in everybody's cup. Hey, pouring in every. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so we out here pouring in everybody's cup and then our cup's empty. I know y'all have heard that analogy, that adage, that proverb, whatever it's called, but we out there just pouring and then we're empty. So we have to get filled up, right? We have to put some tea in our kettle, you know? So we got to get ourselves back up because we're not good, right? To anybody if we don't have our own oxygen. Remember that from the Be Risky. You don't want to just be giving up your oxygen to everybody, just sucking it all up, right? So, or not just to everybody, but to everything. So the busier you are, the greater self-care you need. Um Also, being too busy can cause serious health problems, y'all. And when I'm talking about, like, it at that stress, arteries, high blood pressure. I'm saying arteries, blocked arteries, because you really so busy. Because guess what happens? You don't eat well either, right? So then you run into, not Chick-fil-A, because they got that Jesus chicken. So you running off to Burger King and McDonald's and all these places, and yes, getting like greasy bacon, you know, and not stuff that you cook at home because you don't have time because you're busy. So you see how that busyness can just like cause other health problems. And so it leads to higher stress levels and just your decline in health and happiness overall. Okay. There's also an internal imbalance that happens because your body's off, right? Because it's just so overworked. And so, when you're overworked, your heart has to pump a little harder to do things to make you, to go. Also, when you exercise, it creates cortisol. Cortisol makes that it, if it's not managed properly, you get that gut, that beer belly looking thing. It's not because you've been drinking beer, but it's because there's cortisol, especially like in women. Like that's where, our midsection it starts to blow up. So anyway, what is the struggle with that? What is the struggle about doing self-care? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm so glad. Wait, Brian, what you say? Hold on now. Wait a minute. We ain't gone. Oh, they talking about this food. Okay. So, um, the question is, what's the struggle of implementing self-care? Well, changing old behaviors. Mm. Changing old behaviors. It's because we get so comfortable, we get so used to that, things become a habit, and that's where we get stuck, right? So when we have to change things, it's harder to do because you got to incorporate that in, right? Um, so I just want you to know that in order to create healthier, better lifestyle, that's what it is, a lifestyle. It's not just like a diet, it's a lifestyle. It's not just going to the gym, because right now I think all the people that started going in January, they probably starting to wind down now, right? Because it's getting close to the end of March, so they probably already done stopped. But it's a lifestyle change. It's a healthier lifestyle change. So we probably did it for that first month of whole January, right? But then now we're like, yeah, I don't have time for that. So I want you to think about that, and I'm encouraging you to change those old behaviors and think about this. Self-care is for your life, y'all. It's for your life. It's not just something like the cool trendy word of the year or the month or whatever. It's for you. It's for your life, because remember, I just told you that not tending to your self-care is not healthy, and it could lead to other health problems, like physical health problems, because we always take in physical health problems, but we don't really be mindful of our emotional health, our mental health, our spiritual health. Sometimes we ain't really worried about our financial health. So all those things come into play with your self-care. Okay. And so change those old behaviors. Now I want to focus on being mindful of your schedule, right? So all that busyness stuff, be mindful of your schedule. And maybe you need to not put too much stuff on your plate. Like, because if you got the grits on your plate, you got the bacon on your plate, then you got some hash browns and you got ham. Because, if you go to Waffle House, you can get all that, and some waffles or some pancakes or some French toast. You see what I'm saying? It's too much on your plate. So, and I must be hungry too, y'all, because she over here talking about the grits, and I'm using that as a whole example. So don't overbook yourself or put too much on your plate. Don't, for me in my practice, I try to see 4 people a day. I don't want to see more than that, and that's for me to have a healthy balance. If I see more than that, I don't have a healthy balance, and I can't say like, okay, well, I'm gonna see 6 today, so then tomorrow I just gotta see 2 because I seen the other 2 from yesterday. Because today is today, right? We don't get that time back. So today is today. So tomorrow is a whole nother day. And hopefully I wake up and I'm gonna be okay and I'm not too stressed out, right? So anyway, don't overbook yourself. Don't try to do too much. Remember some of that self-care about being able to say no. It's okay to say no. Like, no, child, I can't. Nope, not today. All right. And so this last part that I want to focus on is actually making time and scheduling it to commit to your own self-care. So ask yourself, what days or times can I commit to self-care? You know, and it's so easy to just start out with a routine. So maybe you don't have to do it every single day, but just start out with some 1 to 3 days out of the week that you can schedule some self-care in. And actually, remember last week I told y'all, put it on the calendar. Put it on the calendar, right? Because if you can show up for dental appointments, you can show up for regular doctor's appointments. You can show up for the baby's soccer game, the basketball game, all these different things. You can show up for all of that. I need you to show up for yourself. Put yourself first and show up for yourself. So if you have to, put it on your calendar. I actually told y'all last week I set timers throughout the day. Or even if you don't, if you have, like, you say, okay, every 2 hours I'm gonna take a 10-15 minute break. Even in the government, y'all, even in the government, when I worked for the government, we was allowed to take a 15-minute break. We had 2 15-minute breaks and a 30-minute lunch break. So if you can do that, yes, I did it on my Android. Yes, girl. um, so if you just schedule that time in for yourself. Remember, last week I also said, be committed to showing up for yourself, because that is so important. I can't say that enough. If we show up for everything and everybody else, Show up for yourself. Okay. And so it doesn't have to be a whole big old, like a whole commitment ceremony. Like I'm saying, for real, it could just be okay, start out with one day, put it in chunks if you have to. So, like, if one day you're just like, I'm gonna take a 10-minute break, or I'm going to take a 30-minute break and actually close the computer and walk away. It could be something small like that. It don't have to be so thought out, so sophisticated, okay? It could be just really simple. It does not have to be like where you sitting here making a whole to-do list and trying to figure out uh tables and Excel sheets. It does not have to be all that, okay? And if you don't want to put it in your, if you're not a digital type person, put it in your planner. I mean, I just like the fact that my phone will start vibrating, buzzing, ringing, doing something to let me know it's time for this appointment. And it can just be something simple. Okay. I just want to encourage you to do whatever self care activity that you can do. And that is just anything that cares for your body, your mind, or your spirit. Okay. So, whatever that looks like, just, I know last week we did a moment where we're just breathing. Just stop everything and just breathe for a few moments. Just take that time and sit in yourself and allow yourself to be. Just be. Okay. Um, you might also want to schedule in a time to move your body, going back to the exercise and the E for the be risky. It could be 30 minutes. And like I said, you could, you know, walk for 10 minutes outside to the mailbox around the corner and come on back, you know, and then do something else for 10 minutes later in the day. And then another 10 minutes, something else. It doesn't all have to be at one time. Like I know my brother and maybe like coach, they go hard in the gym, right? So they do stuff where, they be in the gyms for like 2, 3, 4 hours. I don't know how long people stay in the gym, but yeah, 30 minutes is not, and it can be in chunks. It's not a lot. Um, and then I think lastly, what do I have on here? Um, Ooh, I like this one. Take a long bath after work. They got so much stuff. Like I haven't taken a bath in so long. I don't think I've ever taken a bath in this house, and I lived here for 11 years. But they got like the little what you call bath bombs. They got shower fizzies, whatever that looks like. And um, I'm not gonna encourage you to drink, but some people do like to sit at the tub with a glass of wine and some strawberries or some chocolates or something, whatever that looks like. Some candlelight, some music, whatever that looks like for you. But you could take a long bath or just, stay in the shower. Like my thing, the Lord talked to me in the shower. So that's where I be at. Because I might fall asleep in the bathtub. I ain't gonna lie. Um, they also suggest cooking a nourishing meal for yourself. I know some people, in order to do self care, they do meal planning, right? So you start out with, maybe it's on a Sunday, you cook all the meat and all the vegetables and all the stuff that you're gonna have, and you just break it up into smaller meals. You see, even that's a self-care thing, because what you're doing is you're lessening the time that you will have to do in the middle of the week, and also not rushing out going somewhere and spending money unnecessarily, because then that would be impulsive, as we already talked about, right? So whatever you do, I just want you to think about what rejuvenates you, what energizes you, what makes you feel good, what brings you joy, whatever it is, rekindle those old things that you thought that you would never do again, whatever it is, just make that designated time for you, for your self-care, so that you can reap the benefits. So that's all I got for tonight, y'all. Let me see what's been going on. Yes, Carrington. Hey, I always call him Carrington, but that's my old friend Marco, battle buddy. Back to the basics. That's right. Back to the basics. So I love that. So thank you for sharing that. He said we have to work out. Yes, I know y'all have to. Michelle said schedule exercise like any other appointment. So yes, and I know she does that all the time. And I'm putting her out there. She be multitasking because sometimes we talk on the phone and she's like, yeah, I'm on the bike, you know, but I can't be mad at her because that's something that she doesn't have to really focus on pedaling. You know what I mean? But she could talk to me. But I can tell when people get distracted, just as I'm sure that you can too. And then that's the time that we need to hang up, you know, because you ain't listening to me. I'm gonna get mad and then we gonna be in an argument. And that's more stress, you know. So also just be aware of people's boundaries. You know, if I'm at the gym, I'll call you back. If you know, because sometimes we have issues saying no. So, you know, you do it for me. So, you know, that might be a boundary crossing. But anyway, yes, spa days. I love that. You know, I told y'all I think last week that started going back to get my nails done. So that's one of the things I feel better. I you know, it's not they just basic. They ain't extra, you know, but it's something I love to go to massages too, y'all. That, you know, and just taking care of your health in general, you know, that's self-care. Make time for those appointments. Um, but yes, but thank you, Michelle. She said my nails are cute. Yes, honey. It's time to go get them done though. So anyway, thank y'all so much. Remember, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, suggestions, whatever you want, hit me up in the messaging and let me know. And if you would like to be a guest on the Lit Podcast Tuesday Night Tea, holla at me. I'll send you a link so that you can fill it out and select the day that you would want to be a guest. Um, yeah, Carrington says that we find it hard to say no to people, but it is good to learn to say it. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And we ain't got to explain it, as we've talked about before. We ain't got to explain it. And I know that was bad English, so mama forgive me. She taught me better than that. We do not have to explain when we say no. Period. Okay. So, y'all, it's been fun, but I'm going to go because I'm hungry. I need to do my self care, and I hope you do too. And Michelle, enjoy those bacon and grits and all that goodness. I wish you could have put some shrimp in there because I would have been down the street in 10 minutes. But anyway, I love you guys. And as we always say, I am here. It is now. And I am alive. Yes, honey. I'll holler at y'all. See y'all next week.